You are watching Man's Dark Nature, where true crime actually meets the truth. We cover unsolved murders, reopened cold cases, and those twisted domestic crimes that still haunt families today. No jump scares here or cheap sensationalism, just the dark, uncomfortable facts, backed by solid research and investigation. 14-year-old Andrew Gosden kisses his father goodbye at the front door. Kevin Gosden watches his brilliant, gifted son walk toward Westfield Comprehensive School, backpack slung over his shoulder. It's the last time he'll ever see Andrew alive. But here's what Kevin didn't know: Andrew never intended to go to school that day. Instead of walking through those familiar gates, Andrew was about to make a decision that would baffle investigators, torment his family, and expose a system so fundamentally broken that a child could vanish in broad daylight while authorities fumbled the most basic investigative steps. This isn't just the story of a missing teenager. This is the story of how bureaucratic incompetence, institutional failures, and a justice system that moves too slowly allowed a brilliant boy to slip through the cracks of modern society, and how, 18 years later, his family still fights for answers that should have been found in the first 48 hours. The question that haunts: what could drive a studious, responsible teenager to abandon everything he knew for a one-way ticket to London? And why, in an age of CCTV cameras and digital footprints, could someone simply disappear? Andrew Gosden wasn't your typical troubled teen. He was academically gifted, so brilliant that he'd skipped a year in school. He played piano, loved mathematics, and had a particular passion for heavy metal music and video games. His teachers described him as mature, responsible, never a disciplinary problem. But Andrew was also different. Shy, introspective, he didn't have a mobile phone, unusual even for 2007. He wasn't on social media. He was old-fashioned in a digital world, preferring books to Facebook, music to messaging. That September morning started like any other. Andrew's parents, Kevin and Glennice, left for work. His sister Charlotte had already departed for university. Andrew was alone, and that's when he made his move. Instead of attending school, Andrew walked back home. He changed out of his school uniform into his favorite outfit: black jeans, a dark shirt, and his beloved Slipknot t-shirt. He withdrew £200 from his savings account, nearly everything he had. Then he walked to Doncaster train station. Here's where the system failed him. Andrew bought a one-way ticket to London King's Cross. Not return, one way. The ticket cost £31.40. A return ticket would have cost only £1.40 more. For a mathematical mind like Andrew's, this wasn't an oversight. This was a deliberate choice. He never planned to come home. At 11:35 a.m., Andrew boarded the train. CCTV captured him walking through Doncaster station, looking calm, purposeful. He wasn't running away. He was walking towards something. But what? 3 hours later, at 2:30 p.m., CCTV cameras at King's Cross Station captured Andrew walking into London, one of the busiest cities in the world. And then, like a ghost, he simply disappeared. No more CCTV footage. No witness sightings that could be verified. No digital footprint. In a city of 8 million people, monitored by thousands of cameras, a 14-year-old boy in a distinctive Slipknot shirt became invisible. When Kevin Gosden called the police that evening to report Andrew missing, he expected swift action. What he got was bureaucratic nightmare. Here's the injustice that will make your blood boil. South Yorkshire police waited 27 days, nearly a month, before requesting CCTV footage from King's Cross Station. In missing person cases, the first 24 to 48 hours are critical. By the time they asked for the footage, it had been automatically deleted. 27 days. In those 27 days, Andrew could have been found. Witnesses could have been located. Digital trails could have been preserved. Instead, the most crucial evidence in the case was lost forever because of bureaucratic delay. But the failures didn't stop there. Police initially refused to take the case seriously, assuming Andrew was a typical runaway who would return home within days. They failed to properly canvass the area around King's Cross for witnesses. They didn't immediately alert Transport Police or London Metropolitan Police. Missing person posters weren't distributed until weeks later. Remember, this was 2007, early smartphone era, but digital surveillance was already extensive. Yet Andrew moved through London like a digital ghost. No ATM transactions. No mobile phone pings, he didn't own one. No credit card usage. This suggests either Andrew had help from someone who knew how to avoid surveillance. He had planned this disappearance meticulously. Something happened to him almost immediately upon arrival. While police dragged their feet, the Gosden family launched their own investigation. Kevin and Glenys plastered missing person posters across London. They walked the streets around King's Cross, showing Andrew's photo to anyone who would look. They appeared on television, pleaded in newspapers, offered rewards. Charlotte, Andrew's older sister, put her university studies on hold to search for her brother. The family spent their life savings on private investigators, CCTV analysis, and reward money. They did the job the police should have done, but by then, the trail was already cold. In 2008, nearly a year after Andrew's disappearance, police received what seemed like a breakthrough. 2 witnesses came forward claiming they'd seen Andrew in Covent Garden on the day he disappeared, talking to 2 men. But here's the devastating truth. By the time these witnesses came forward, it was too late to verify their accounts. The CCTV footage that could have confirmed their story was long gone, victim of the same 27-day delay that lost the King's Cross footage. 18 years later, investigators have built a profile of Andrew's final day that raises more questions than answers. Andrew researched train times to London in the days before his disappearance. He'd been to London before with family and knew the area around King's Cross. He left his PSP handheld gaming device at home, unusual for a boy who rarely went anywhere without it. He didn't take his phone charger, suggesting he didn't plan to be gone long or expected not to need it. The meeting theory: did Andrew arrange to meet someone in London? His internet history showed visits to chat rooms and gaming forums. In 2007, online predators were increasingly sophisticated. The concert theory: was Andrew planning to attend a concert? He was passionate about heavy metal music, and several bands were performing in London that week. The impulse theory: did something specific trigger his decision to leave that morning? Had he been bullied? Was he struggling with identity issues? His parents saw no warning signs, but teenage depression can be invisible. In 2021, 14 years after Andrew's disappearance, police made 2 arrests in connection with the case. The arrests generated hope that finally, the family would have answers. But both suspects were released without charge. Once again, the family's hopes were crushed. Once again, the justice system failed them. Here's what's truly haunting about Andrew's case. He disappeared at the dawn of the digital surveillance age. Just a few years later, disappearing without a trace would be nearly impossible. His case exists in this strange liminal space where there was just enough technology to track his movements to London, but not enough to follow him through the city. He's a ghost of the analog age, vanished in digital purgatory. Today, Kevin and Glenys Gosden are in their 70s. They've spent 18 years, half their son's entire life again, searching for answers. Charlotte is now an adult with her own family, but Andrew's empty chair still sits at every family gathering. They've never moved house, keeping the same phone number, just in case Andrew tries to come home. They update his missing person page religiously. They respond to every tip, follow every lead, no matter how slim. This is what love looks like when the system fails you. Endless, unrelenting hope in the face of institutional indifference. The questions that remain: why did Andrew choose that specific day to disappear? Who, if anyone, was he planning to meet? How did a 14-year-old boy disappear so completely in one of the world's most surveilled cities? Could he still be alive? Andrew's case exposed fundamental flaws in how missing person cases are handled. The arbitrary waiting periods before investigations begin in earnest. The lack of coordination between different police forces. The automatic deletion of crucial CCTV evidence. The assumption that missing teenagers are simply runaways. Some of these issues have been addressed in the years since Andrew's disappearance. But for his family, these improvements came too late. If you take one thing from Andrew's story, let it be this: every missing person matters. Every family deserves answers. Every case deserves to be taken seriously from day one. Andrew Gosden was not a statistic. He was a brilliant, beloved son and brother whose life mattered. His family's fight for truth is a fight for justice. Not just for Andrew, but for every missing person whose case gets buried under bureaucratic indifference. The final truth: someone, somewhere, knows what happened to Andrew Gosden. Someone saw him in London that day. Someone knows where he went, what he did, who he might have met. The question isn't whether the truth exists, it's whether our justice system cares enough to find it. Andrew Paul Gosden, missing since September 14, 2007. Still waiting to come home.